Good morning. Today I want to talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu again. But this time, I actually want us to look at what he's probably doing right. I mean, it's difficult to find so many right things that the government is doing in at least in the last 1 year, 3 months. That's 1.25 of the 4 years that he has in his current mandate. He's gone almost halfway. We're approaching, in a few months, we'll be approaching halfway to his term, and it's unfortunately, or as it is, currently difficult to find real impact. But there is one ministry or one minister that I believe that the performance of his work is worth discussing and highlighting. And that ministry is the FCT ministry, is the minister of the FCT. That's Governor Yesom Wike. He is one minister that has, been able to look at his mandate and try to connect directly to what the people need. In the 1 year that he has been in office, rather than making big plans and launching big projects that you need time to find their impact, he went immediately after things that are easy to achieve so people can start benefiting from the public funds, from the resources of the country. In the previous administration, a lot of projects were also started, some were completed, but Abuja and the FCT in general is full of so many developmental needs that it is easy for somebody else that comes in to be overwhelmed, look at the whole space and just be like, I want to do a new project entirely. But Yesom Wike essentially took a mandate, like if you watch his first budget defense, he was particular about the need to complete all the existing projects, all the projects that are currently ongoing, so people can quickly start feeling the impact of the government, at least within the FCT. So he has been focused on what can be completed quickly so that people can immediately start feeling the impact of the administration in their lives. While other ministers are making broad strategic plans or visions or philosophy, I will even call some of what they do just philosophizing kind of thing, because some of what they are saying is unfortunately vague. If you take somebody as important as the Minister of Works, Governor Dr. David Umahi, that personally I had a lot of expectations from him and everything. And he comes in, and some of his landmark plans or projects is one to use concrete, cement-based concrete for road construction. And then he picks one long, gigantic coastal road. That's his priority. I was personally disappointed. How is that how do you impact people with that? It sounds like something that he had in mind before even becoming a governor. Also, it looks like a project that somebody is interested in. It doesn't look like a project that actually came out of a kind of needs assessment. You run a Lagos Calabar coastal line, while things like the East-West Road are still suffering. So many roads intermediate in between all these places are still suffering. For me, somebody like the past Minister of Works, Babatunde Fashola, who was even a lawyer, not an engineer, had a better grasp of how to interconnect the road network of Nigeria than what David Umahi, that is a civil engineer, is doing. You see Governor Fashola come on screen with a map explaining the roads in Nigeria and how they impact the economic development of the less privileged, of majority of the people of the country. How important road leading the north and the south to be connected, the east to the west will be connected, and everything. You will see clearly what he's trying to do. David Umahi has not come up with a plan, and he's already commissioning something as gigantic, as something as strategic. While the project is not bad by itself, but definitely there is no sign that the needs assessment, the cost benefits, and comparative benefits analysis had been done, and very importantly, had been communicated to Nigerians. So we know why such amount of money will be taken and put on that when, before he came in, or before this administration came in, some things that we could call the priority of Nigerians will be something like power supply in terms of infrastructure. We would rather put that money in power supply that ensures there is more power across the country than commission a whole concrete 6-lane one thing that definitely he can't complete. So it will be neither here nor there. It will give the next administration another uncompleted project to manage. But going back to what the FCT minister has done, I think he is clearer in trying to link projects to the people faster. And there are so many painfully uncompleted projects in the FCT, that it's really a thing of joy, a thing that should be commended, that he just went after those ones and get them running. At the May 29th, that's 1 year mark range, he commissioned 11 projects within the FCT. I mean, some of them look flimsy, but however flimsy they are still better than nothing, because a lot of other ministries don't have much tangible results to show. But what you would see is that many of those roads are actually, again, focused on the urban areas, on the city center of the FCT, which makes a lot of people outside the city center still wonder if developments will be coming to all those areas. You'll see the 11 projects that he commissioned, like 9 of them is all about the city center. You have the vice president's residence. I mean, that one, a lot of people have talked about it, but I don't think it's so bad. Some people there have been comments that, is the vice president not living somewhere? Is that something that should be completed? But actually, all this while, the vice president's residence have been so linked within the presidency that the vice presidents have tended to be like tenant, and it's too connected, and it's probably not what was designed. So he took the bold step to quickly complete the vice president's residence. You can see where the old one was and where the new one is located. So he does the vice president's residence, and then he does 2 roads, B6 and B12, that connects the city gate into the city. These are projects that I know have been under construction for at least 20 years. So it's really a thing of joy to see that somebody just wants to close out those projects, and he just closes them out. They were predicted to ease the traffic, especially decongest the city gate area. I don't think that has been achieved, but it's good that things are closed out so that we know that they are closed out. So he has the B6, they completed the B6, the Big 12 road, and then they completed some very interesting interchanges, especially the one at Wuye, the Wuye Bridge. That is a project that the city, the logistics in the city really needed, because that bridge, accelerating and completing that bridge eases the traffic at places like Berger Junction, so many places that people will have had to, because they want to get into Wuye, they will have had to do a lot of traveling around the town just to, be able to get into that district. So in all honesty, it's good to see somebody just get the job done. That's actually the good thing about that. Then you have other roads like the road connecting the central area to Garki, and then which is named after him, after Bola Ahmed Tinubu now. It starts around the Jonathan Expressway and goes into Garki. That's a fantastic road. That's a road that should ease traffic within the FCT. So he has this road that connects that Jabi area back to the Kubwa Express Road that is named after Wole Soyinka. I think it's also, that road has been under construction for probably 15 years. So that is knocked out, and people can use it. So I think it's really a good thing. He comes in and is sorting, all these things. Then there is this interesting part of this metro line that was essentially commissioned by the previous administration. However, it's really worthy of note that that project is something that continues the line of failed priorities or prioritization in decision making. It's necessary for leaders to look at the immediate impact, maybe not necessarily immediate, but when prioritizing things, they should think of the people's comforts and the people's usage before themselves. If you take this metro line in the FCT that was meant for the FCT, that network has like 8 lines, 7 or 8 lines that runs different very important parts of the city, that people can really benefit from. But it was so surprising that when they were starting, the only line, the least used line, the least important line, but linked the airport to the central area was the one they were going to start with. The same thinking of the comfort of the rich before the general populace. But I mean, the previous administration had done that, linking the airport, passing through nowhere, passing through just bush kind of thing. And they built train stations there in places that people don't really, the people that need it don't really live. And then it comes into the central area from there. And that's the line that they commissioned. So it was not surprising when the rail was commissioned. They made it free for a while, but it's not really useful for anybody. People just used to go there, board it, and go to the airport and come back just to put it on record that, okay, we have fast train or we have a metro line in the FCT. But in reality, it leads from nowhere to nowhere, passing through nowhere, essentially. So it's really not a useful infrastructure that a lot of money was borrowed to construct. But Wike wants to get the project running. So he's like, how do we get this project running in the midst of the strategic or the decision making error that has been committed? One of the projects that Wike commissioned is building access roads to those train stations so that people from somewhere could at least, even if it doesn't pass through where people want it to pass through, but at least they could potentially access it. So you could drop somewhere in Lugbe and try to find a way to get a road, find an access road to get to the train station there and potentially join it to go to the airport or to go into town. So he commissioned the access road to the train stations and then recommissioned the operation, Wiki and naming and, getting things in pieces and calling them projects. So of the 11 projects that he was commissioning, one was the access road to the train stations and another one was what he called the commissioning of the operation of the train station. But again, because the train station is largely not passing through where the real traffic will be, it's currently said to be free to ride for everybody for the next like 5 months. Because if you don't make it free, people don't really need it. It's not passing through where people really need it. Then you have the other projects like there is now one of the roads that are not necessarily in the urban or in the rich men's area kind of thing. It's a major road in Kuali that was commissioned, which is very commendable. The people of that area appreciate the completion of that road as it provides a better access, into the community, into the Kuali area. And then you have the urban, the rich men's area kind of thing, the road, the infrastructure network of the Guzape district. Both the initial phase that was uncompleted, and then they laid the groundwork or, completed also the diplomatic area. I don't know what that is supposed to be, but largely just infrastructure in the area that is largely rich men kind of area. So this is one of the only ministers that can really come out to show something. A lot of the other guys, the finance, what tangible impact can we find for the finance ministry? Fine, they are working, but I mean, the outcome is currently not impressive. The whole balancing between the NNPC, now they've told the NNPC to remit directly to the CBN, all the financial states of all these things, they are still in a flux. You cannot say they are in control. A lot of the PPIS issues that we've been having are still lingering there. Doctors are still on the wings waiting to strike for financial issue, for financial and remuneration issues. So really, the FCT minister, Governor Wike, which incidentally is the PDP governor within the APC government, he is the only one that one can really see that he's direct. You can tell, you can feel. I mean, people that should have been more impactful than him, a ministry like the Agric ministry, which was the focus, one of the focal areas of the previous administration. You can't see them, you can't feel them, you don't know what they are doing and what they are not doing. If you talk Ministry of Education, you can't feel tangible achievements. They don't even come on air to talk because you can't find, they really can't find, they are just in policies and talking and, just spinning around. If you go to an important ministry like health, fine. Mohamed Pate, Professor or Dr. Mohamed Pate has a lot of ideas of what he wants to do and stuff, but you hear things around vaccine production, around some high level stuff. But I mean, let me go to the primary healthcare center and find something that works. Let me go to the teaching hospital here and be welcome and see a teaching hospital that is functional. Before you talk about vaccine production, before you talk about solving some global issues and all these things, while they are important, but in the meantime, you are there to provide service both in short term while being sensitive or keeping an eye on the strategic issues. So I would make effort to reach these other ministries to see if we can get things to report and communicate to Nigerians about it. But for now, we have to give kudos to Wike, Governor Wike, for his efforts to look at low-hanging fruits, things that could be dealt with, things that could be delivered very quickly and get them delivered. Moving around in the FCT, especially in the city center, let's say moving around in the Abuja itself, has been made better by the presence of Governor Wike. We commend him, we commend President Tinubu, and hope that they keep an eye on the welfare of the people and keep producing or performing for the sake of the people that voted and put them there. That will be all for this episode of the program. I'll see